Hello.
Hey, there we go.
Hello,
Hello.
Hello.
how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, good.
Good. Did you just
How are
listen
you?
to? I'm all right. Yeah. Did you just listen to it?
Yes.
Yep.
What?
Good.
How did you listen? What on? Just on a phone?
Alexa.
Alexa.
Oh,
Alexa.
she's come on now.
Oh, wait, just come on. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
Amazing.
Hi,
Uh,
everybody.
hello. Yeah. Say hello to Amy and not everybody. Why don't you just quickly introduce yourselves? Obviously, you've said your names, but tell everybody what you do.
Yeah. So we're Amy and Nat. Hall. We've just got married last year. We are youth leaders at IKON Youth, and we lead the Yth.Sound team. Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much said everything that I
Nathaniel
was going to
drums.
say. I drum. We're part of the church creative team as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavily involved in that. Yeah, I drum. Amy sings.
Worship lead.
Learning piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's
That's
anything else.
it.
I'm also part of the media team. I've got to
Yeah,
please Sam and Rach in some way.
Awesome. You write a little bit as well, don't you?
Yeah,
Yes, we wrote This Love Forever.
yeah,
You wrote that one together.
Yeah,
yes.
with Nathan and April as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that was the first song that we wrote.
Yeah.
I'm currently doing another one.
Yeah, it should be out, but now this pandemic is here.
When we
Nothing.
can get together to rehearse again, it'll
Yeah.
be ready.
Definitely.
That's awesome. All right, so I've got a few questions for you,
Yeah.
which I've prepared, and yeah, hopefully we're going to have a really cool discussion just around worship, around Yth.Sound, around what everyone's just listened to. So first question is about the EP, which is 3 songs. So hopefully this is fairly a straightforward question. It is, do you have a favourite song from the EP and why?
I love them all, but I would say that my favourite is probably Rest. Just because it was written by my favourite people, which was Nathan, April, and you, Ben.
Wow. Obviously, I'm not in a favourite category now.
No, it's not. But yeah, I just absolutely love the words, and I think that's probably my favourite song to come out of Icon Church as well. Just because I think the message is so powerful, and I think that it's really touched so many hearts within church, and is a song that everyone just loves. And I love to sing it. I think it's an incredible worship song, and I just get so much peace from it.
Yeah.
Has a very relevant kind of theme and idea.
Definitely.
And truth as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I was just listening on my sound bar in my living room, and I forgot how good that song sounds. So yeah, it's a very good one. Okay, Nat, what is your favourite from the EP and why?
Oh.
I think that's Ben. I'm hoping that's Ben. Can everyone still see us?
Yeah, I can see you.
Woo.
Can you hear me?
You've frozen.
I've frozen.
Hello?
Oh.
Ben?
Can you
Ben,
hear
you
me?
alive?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It just you just
froze
went.
there.
Did we freeze?
Oh wow.
Oh
no, you were fine. I still heard everything you were saying.
Oh right.
You go then.
That's weird.
All right. I just asked you the same question, Nat, if you didn't hear.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, if you can still hear me, then that's fine. For me, it's definitely this love forever. I think it's one because it was the first song we wrote, so the behind it whenever we sing it in youth and church, and to hear people sing your own songs, that's amazing. But I'm a humble guy, so I don't want to brag about it too much. So I think the main reason I really like the song is because of the message it has behind it. It has a real message of, and I think that's especially key for young people, because young people make a lot of decisions in their lifetime, especially growing up through school and stuff. They have a lot of choices to make. I think the message behind that is that God loves you no matter what choice you make. So yeah, this love forever.
Yeah, really good, awesome. Okay, so the next question is about the recording, which you did. Was it in one day, or the majority of it was in one day?
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we went to Cambridge for the day. A guy called Billy, who was doing music in college, and had to do a project, I think, for his college course, and got in touch with Nathan Blood, and said that he'd like to work with us. So we thought it was a great opportunity to do something for the youth, and we did. At the time we were writing This Love Forever, and we had the other two songs as well. So we went down to Cambridge for the day, to his house, because he's got a little studio there. Yeah, and it was a very long day. We recorded all the vocals that day, and that was 3 people for each song. So that was a long time. But I think Jake took the longest, recording all his guitar parts.
It took forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same question for me, Ben.
You what?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
same
yeah,
question for me.
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, I think obviously, the journey was very long, but I think when you're in a car with Nathan and April, and Roman, yeah, that makes it fairly short. We were just talking about music pretty much all the way, which was nice, and I think the environment there as well. So we went to this house to record, and everyone that was in the house, the team that went there to record, were all very creative. I think being in an environment like that, a creative environment where people are bouncing ideas off one another, that was a great environment to be in. And that's the kind of environment that I love, because it gets the best out of me as well. So I think it gets the best out of the rest of the team as well. So I really love that part of the day.
And then you did the drums with Joel.
Oh yeah, did the drums with Joel as well. So
awesome.
Shout out to Joel.
Awesome, that sounds really good. Okay, so I want to just chat a little bit, discuss about worship. And my first question comes from a little bit of Paul's, our lead pastor Paul's message from Sunday. And he said this statement about worship. And he said that worship is taking on a different meaning in this season. And I kind of, as you guys leading the worship team within youth, and Eamon being a worship leader, what were your thoughts around that statement?
Yeah, I think the main thing I took from Paul's message around worship was that you can't make God bigger, you can't make him bigger than he already is.
Yeah.
But you can make him bigger in your own eyes, the way that you see God, you can make him bigger. So I think that's really key in terms of making him bigger in every single area of your life. That can be anything. So worship means your actions. So what you do to glorify God. That's all that worship means. So it's not just singing, it's what you do in your day-to-day life too. So I think if you make God bigger in every single area of your life, then you're living a life that is gonna, be fruitful, gonna be healthy. So I definitely took that from Paul's message.
Yeah, and I think one massive revelation I got from it, or just a reminder, was how good worship is for your soul.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that worship is one of the main things that lifts our soul. in times of trouble.
Mm.
And I just think that that is so important and powerful right now, because this is a difficult season that we're in. And I think if we can have a heart of worship and focus our lives on worshipping God, then I think that will lift us up in these days. Yeah, I just think that's so powerful.
Yeah, I think listening to music as well, especially worship music,
Yeah.
because there's words in worship songs and in praise songs that really lift you up. Even in this time that's really hard for us, it lifts you up, lifts your spirit up.
Yeah.
And I know people, especially if you're in school and stuff and you don't have any work to do, even if you do have work to do, there can be people that feel like they haven't got much to do in the day, and they can sometimes get down about that because they feel like they're without purpose. But I think that once you listen to worship songs in your day, then that lifts up your spirit and makes you rethink that actually I do have a purpose. I have a purpose of still reaching my friends through social media and reaching them through phone calls and things like that.
Awesome, that's really good. I think God creates us as worshippers. So I think, as we live our lives, we're always developing as worshippers. So I wanted to ask you about when you guys were growing up as teenagers, how did you develop your personal worship?
Cool.
Yeah. I think for me, it was a journey of realizing that worship wasn't just about singing and wasn't just about singing in church and worshipping in church on a Sunday, but actually worship is every day. It's every part of our life. It's like what Nat said, it's just giving God everything, every part of you. And I think that was my personal journey, was to devote as much as I could in my life to God, whether that be in my time or money was a big thing. Just giving that to God and using those things with Him as well. I think is so important, especially as young people. It's so important to understand that it's not just singing on a Friday, it's not just singing on a Sunday, but it's giving your whole life to God to use it for His glory.
Yeah, I think adding on what Amy's saying, I was going to say the same thing in terms of worship. I said it previously, but worship isn't just singing. It's your everyday life and what you do in your life as well. But just to add on that, I think me growing up as a teenager, I think I started to pray a lot more to God. So my prayer life improved as a teenager, which in turn, when I pray to God, it helps me to find peace. So like, say I had an exam coming up that day, or a really big thing coming up that day. Say I had to do a presentation in class. Before those things would happen, I would pray into them. So I'd pray for peace and pray for God to be with me in those as well. So that would also help me just to improve that day. So whatever I'm praying for that day, I would improve those things. So I think because not those things aren't necessarily worship, but I think when you give it to God, it does become worship. So I think that when you give it to God, you're saying, right, God, I'm going to glorify you in this, no matter what it is. I just want to glorify you in it. So let's take the exam, for example. If I prayed into an exam, if I prayed into that presentation, I could glorify God through the skills that He has given me. So the skills of speaking to people in a presentation, or the skills of being able to do that exam.
That's really good. Some really good thoughts there and good practical tips as well. So I got one more question for you both. We've got quite a few people listening. So my last question is, what's your favourite worship song right now that everyone needs to go and listen to as soon as we finish on Instagram?
Mine is definitely The Blessing. Probably everyone knows that.
Who's it by?
It's by Elevation Worship and Job and Cody Carnes. I just absolutely love it. Sam Ben just showed it me a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to Sam.
Is that Sam in the Heart?
Yeah, he showed it me, and I was just absolutely blown away by it. I think it's an incredible song lyrically. I think is so powerful. What I took from it the most was the line about your children and their children and their children. Simply because I think that's why we're doing what we're doing. It's for the next generation. And I think I've never really heard a song that specifically mentions that, and I just think that is so powerful and such an incredible reminder of why we do what we do.
Cool.
Great. No.
Yeah, so my favourite song at the moment is Lord Send Revival by Hillsong Young and Free. I think for me, there's a line that stands out for me, and it says, "Pour out your presence as I pour out your praise." So what that's talking about is when I sing to God, His presence comes into my life. So I think that's so crucial, even in these times, even when we're in isolation, God's still there with us. Even when we're isolated from the world, God's still there with us. So I think as we praise God more and more, the more we'll feel closer to Him. So I think that is so vital in our everyday life, especially in this time.
Awesome, that's really good. So everyone who's listening, make sure you go and listen to those songs and keep streaming the Yth.Sound EP as well, which is amazing. Guys, you do such an incredible job with youth and with Yth.Sound. So I want to thank you for all that you do. Before Amy and Nat go, why don't everyone who's listening just show them some love in the comments before they leave? Are you guys got any plans for the rest of the evening?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you later. I don't know how we end this, Ben.
I'll end it if you want.
You sure? I feel like
I'm
staying
just
on.
giving a few seconds for people to send in their love hearts and stuff like that.
All right. The comments have froze for us anyway, so we haven't really been seeing any.
You're getting a lot of people saying that they love you, so that's good.
Are they?